So common is profane. And the pictographic Ibarit for the word common means cut from sun. Now, isn't that amazing? See, you cannot get that in English. That's why every week I come to tell you the deeper meaning of these words. Profane means cut from sun. That means cut from the sun. Remember, discern means to understand the sun. We're talking about Yahweh's Son, who is the revelation of his mind and his heart. And what is profane? What is common? Being cut from the sun. You don't have discernment. So you do not mix what is common to what is set apart. See, in Jeremiah 3:13 and 14, Yahweh said that we scattered our charms to others. What was sacred, when he gave us our charms, we scattered it to all the other nations, all the other gods, and he said, return to him. I am married to you. See, he used the analogy of marriage because that way you can really understand his relationship with us. Because we do understand man and woman. We understand that on this level. We understand the horizontal level. So he compares it to our relationship with him on a vertical level. You understand the horizontal level, then you understand the verticality of the relationship with him. In Ezekiel 44:23, he told Ezekiel, teach my children to discernment between what is clean and what is not clean. So obviously this is important. We are to be taught to discern what is Kodesh and what is common. That means, and it's not just a physical thing. You can't go take a horse, wash him up, clean him up, and say, okay, now I can eat him because I washed him. So obviously, it's a spiritual thing about what is clean and what's unclean. It's not just what is physically clean. You can't wash a horse and eat them, wash a pig and eat them. They're still unclean. It's a spiritual thing. I told you about how those fallen angels defiled all of the animals. And to some extent, really all of them. That's why even some of the clean animals are not even allowed on the altar. Deer and gazelle are kosher to eat. You don't see any of them being offered on the altar. And there's no seafood, no fish, no salmon. Salmon's a good food. It's not allowed on the altar. So we must have discernment. It's a spiritual thing. Isaiah 35:8, I read that, where there's a highway to heaven. No, not Led Zeppelin. It's not Led Zeppelin. 35:8, Isaiah is talking about the highway to eternal life. And on that highway is only things that are clean and pure. So I thought I'd come by here and tell you that. If you're filthy, you ain't getting on the highway to heaven. You go ahead and play that Led Zeppelin CD. That's the closest you're going to get to it. You know, 9 times Yahweh emphasizes that me, you, we are to be Kodesh because he is Kodesh. No other book in the Bible, all the other 65 books, does he reiterate that over and over again, that you are to be what you call holy because I am holy. He says it over and over again. You think he might mean it? Or he just wanted to fill in some space? I think you may want to take the man on with his word, what he said. Don't be common. The creation of life, so that brings us to Tazria. This is beautiful. You're going to find out the look of Yahweh's covenant people today, this day, right here in the book. Right here in the book, you're going to know what his people look like. And Yahweh's not trying to emphasize that. He's just trying to tell you it's just a matter of fact. It doesn't matter. No one's getting in the kingdom and no one's being kept away from the kingdom based on what their looks are. This is just going to be facts here from the book. The creation of life is the most sublime of all miracles. We don't, because it happens on a daily basis, thousands, probably who knows how many times a day, we seem to get numb to how beautiful of a miracle that is. That you have one soul that partners with another soul on the covenant of what of the Creator to create a third soul. I mean, this is mind-boggling if you just sit back and really think about it. A whole nother entity is created. And along with that creation comes what? Blood and impurity. Even though it's a beautiful thing, it comes out with blood and impurity. This new life, this new soul must be a tool for the service of Yahweh. Otherwise, it's nothing. It's a waste. It's a wasted soul if it's not being born to serve the one that created it in the first place. Let's start this thing. Now, Tazria is in Leviticus 12, verse 1 through Leviticus 13:59. Leviticus 12:1 through Leviticus 13:59. The Haftorah portion, and I was thinking of this, probably, Yahweh willing, next year, I will do the Haftorah portions to these. All of these Torah portions have what's called a Haftorah portion that goes with them that are outside of the 5 books of Moses. The portion here is in 2 Kings 4:42 through 2 Kings 5:19. So, starting from chapter 12, let's go to verse 2. Yahweh says that upon childbirth, a woman is called Tameh. She's unclean upon childbirth. And as such, she is regulated by the same rules as a woman who is in her menstruation. It's called Nada, which means separation for 7 days. So after having her childbirth, she's Tameh, unclean, for 7 days. Then in verse 3, it goes on that on the 8th day, that's when the son gets circumcised. This is called Milah. Now, the Milah is important. This has to be done, even if it falls on a Shabbat. This must be done on the 8th day. So at that point, the mother is not totally clean, but she is partially clean, so she can participate with her husband in this ceremony. The husband does it, or now today the doctor, whomever, but it's really a special time because remember, Yahweh says all the firstborn males that split the womb belong to him. Not just of man, but of beast. So this is a special moment in time. That's why the woman is allowed to be partially clean on the 8th day, to join in with this beautiful moment where another soul is dedicated to the Most High Yah. Now in verse 4, we find out that now she has 33 more days of being partially impure. And you say, well, wait a minute, you think that's a bad thing? No, it's not. Those 33 days are great nurturing and bonding days with the child. And today we don't follow that, but we should. We should not have our children out with everybody's hands and spirits all over your child. Yahweh knows what he's doing. See, people are spirits and hands and touching. You're not supposed to lay your hands on everything and everybody and have everything and everybody laying their hands on you. And we too often have our children out, infants, few weeks old, and everybody's handling your child. And all those spirits are being infused in your child and putting their DNA imprint within your child. That's why Yahweh has the child separated for an additional 33 days. He's on his mama's breast. Even dad don't really have too much. He come home from work. Yeah, you touch, look at the baby, touch it, kiss, whatever. But other than that, even mom can wait. Now, sometimes the mother may have a difficult time, and then she's allowed in, and she's going and spends that 33 days with the daughter or her daughter-in-law, and that may be fine. Other than that, they can wait. Nobody needs to be handling your child coming out of your womb for at least 1 month. That's not Yehonathan Dawid saying, is in the book. Verse 4 of chapter 12 of Wayekra, which you call Leviticus. Now, if the mother birthed a daughter, she's unclean for 14 days. It's doubled. And then from that point, she's got another 66 days of being partially impure. There, I hear it out there. Yahweh's sexist. No, he's not. Close your mouth. Study the word. I'm going to try to, and this is a great Torah portion there. I pray to y'all, say, y'all, please, calm my brother down today. I try my best. I'm calm my brother down today, because it's going to be some tough stuff in here. You're going to learn some stuff. Because when you start talking about color and skin, people get all hyped up. and their panties getting a bunch up their buttocks. 33 days, so the daughter, the mother is impure double the time as with her son. Now there's deep reasons for this way back in the creation of Adam. I'm not even going to go there. There's good reasons for that in there. But we will go to a more practical reason today. Okay? When a mother births a daughter, she has two wombs. She has her womb, so that's 40 days of impurity for her womb. Then there's 40 days of impurity for the daughter's womb. Okay? Has nothing to do about the female being less than or more filthy than the male. Has nothing to do about that. It's just because the daughter has a womb, just like the mother. As a matter of fact, if you didn't know that, do you know a brand new baby, female coming out of the womb, has her eggs already matured? It's not like the male. Male doesn't get his seeds not mature until he grows to what, 16, however old he is, 16 years old. It ranges. It could be 13, who knows. But, you know, a female is born with the eggs already mature. That's right. So, doubly impure for the girl, not for any reasons of being less important than the male, than for the boy. All right. Now, move forward with that. Hope you got that clear. In verse 6, we find that after her purification period, she can, then she's able to rejoin the nation and go to the tent of meeting and have services with everyone else. You don't come up in the Yahweh being impure. Remember, we had all this discussion now in the Torah here about purity and impurity, have discernment, undiscernment. You're not supposed to come into the bed of Yah impure. Let's do our first scripture reading for the day. Turn to me to Luke 2, and I'm going to read verses 22 through 24. Luke 2, 22 through 24. Now, when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moshe, was completed, talking about Miriam, they brought him to, talking about Yahweh, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to Yahweh. See, he didn't say present it to the priest. This is her son. And remember, Yahweh says, everything split that womb, first male, comes to me, belongs to me. That's what he said. So she said, so Miriam and the son and the husband, Yusuf, came to the bed after her purification was over, after 40 days. No one else saw him. No one else handled him. Brought him to Yahweh, as it is written in the law of Yahweh. That's verse 23. See, it's not me saying it. She's following the Torah. She's following the law of Moshe. It says, as it is written in the law of Yahweh, every male who opens the womb will be called Kodesh to Yahweh, and to offer a sacrifice according to what is said in the law of Yahweh, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. Now, this is what the Messiah, who never sinned, still, in relating with us, sacrifice had to be made for him as if he was born like a sinner like you and me. She had to offer, and she offered the lowest thing that she could offer. You know why? Because he was born into a poor family. He wasn't born with no silver spoon in his mouth. A poor family. Because she could have offered a ram if they had it, but they were poor. Yahweh Shua was born in a poor family, and his mother had to offer a sin sacrifice for him, who was sinless, 2 turtle doves. So that's the law. And these laws we're going to go about today are the laws of Sarat. Sarat is not the classical leprosy. We will talk about that in another portion. But it's leprosy, is leprous, okay? Sarat is leprous, not the classic form of it, but it's leprous, all right? And you're going to learn so much. Oh, this is a beautiful Torah portion today. So it is not a bodily disease, but it's a physical manifestation of a spiritual malaise. And Yahweh reads the heart. And this whole Torah portion is about how Yahweh, there's a physical manifestation of what is secretly hidden in a person's soul. Secret dirt and filthiness and sins inside of a person will be manifested with a sarat. All right? Oh man, this is beautiful. Now we go to chapter 13, verse 2. There are 4 classes of sarat that's going to be talked about. All right? 4 classes of this type of leprosy. There's sayat, and that's a 676:13 Hebrew word, and that's like a swelling or an uprising. Then there's sapakat, that's Hebrew number 5597, and that's like an eruption or a scab. Then there's beheret, and that's Hebrew number 934, that's like a bright spot. And then there's sarat, that's 6883, that's like a leprosy, okay? And there's type of classes. There's 2 types of white, there's 4 different shades of white. So if it's a sinful manifestation in a person that comes out physically, it turns white. And there's 4 classifications of white. Not black, white. And in verse 3, so we see there's 2 shades of white for each of these secondary colors, okay? Only the Cohen can declare someone to have sarat. If so, then he pronounces you are contaminated. If you have a sarah, that means you are struck with leprosy. That means you have been struck. That's a sarah, 6879, Hebrew word 6879. If the priest says you have a sarah, you have been struck with leprosy. In verse 4, if the bright spot is not deeper than the skin, the person is quarantined for 7 days. In verse 6, if the bright spot gets darker, it is only a scab. The person is to be bathed and be cleaned. In verse 10, if it's a swelling and it looks like a natural wart color, remember there's 4 different classifications of white. Then there's looks like a natural wart, either the hair, if the hair is white, or if the live skin, it is a sarat. Now, if you look at verse 10, and this is what we're missing, especially when you're reading in the KJV. This alone, in verse 10 of chapter 13 of Leviticus, I want you to get it in your own Bibles and read it. What really is saying here, if you was to look at a person like this, it is comparing what is white based on the foundation of what? Of what is dark. Choshech. Yahweh's people, this is what it's saying is, Yahweh's people are melanated. We have a rich melanin in our skin, which is why it is juxtaposed against what is sarat. This means because this person is showing shades of white, it shows that he naturally is melatonin. Yahweh's people are naturally melatonin, is right here. Read all of chapter 13. What it's really saying is that Yahweh's covenanted people are dark. And if there's an issue of them having some kind of spiritual sins, they're going to be manifested on their skin as whiteness. I'm going to try to be a little calm down here because my people are being given a bad name. Verse 11 talks about a long-standing sarat beneath the healing skin. Now I'm going to read verse 12 and 13. Let me go ahead and read verse 12 and 13 of what you call Leviticus chapter 13. Verse 12 says, and if leprosy breaks out all over the skin, and the leprosy covers all the skin of the one who has the sore, from his head to his foot, wherever the priest looks. See, I'm emphasizing this. Then the priest will consider, and indeed, if the leprosy has covered all his body, he will be pronounced him. What do you think the next word is? If the leprosy, he calls it, is in here, covers the entire body, 100%, is the person filthy or clean? What do you think? I'm going to surprise you. That's what I would think. Everybody would think. Clean. Right here in verse 13, the person is clean who has the sore. It has all turned white. He is clean. Isn't that a shock? What does that mean? Yisrael? Guess what? He's an albino. He's an albino. He's not filthy. He's not cursed. He's an albino. This scripture, and I want you to take it out and show it to all your preachers, because they don't even know. Of chapter 13, verses 12 and 13. This shows that Yahweh's people are melantone, and that every last person on the earth who's albino has to be a so-called black person. There's no such thing as a Chinese albino. There's no such thing as a Japanese albino, no such thing as a Korean albino, no such thing as a Russian albino, no such thing as any German. Is no such thing as anybody on the earth who is not a so-called black person being albino. If you're albino, you're so-called black. Yahweh's people are what you call black. We have melanin-rich skin. And if it's not melanin-rich, you're albino. And you can look at this up in your people who want to be thumb scholars. You know, and I don't like people who are thumb scholars and think they know what a researcher knows. Because I'm not a thumb scholar. I research. And I've already done this genetically. I did this lesson specifically on this particular thing last year. And you can look at the genetics. There is no such thing as a non-African person being an albino. That's genetics. But they won't tell you that. Because they tell you that, then you're going to know, ding, 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 ding. Bam, right here in Leviticus shows that Yahweh's people are melantone. I got plenty more scriptures to highlight this. So if a person is fully, and most albinos are not fully albino, they're partial. We're going to go into all that. But just because you're albino don't mean you're cursed. No, our genes produce everything. I told you this before. Google after this broadcast, Nigerians produce white baby. You're going to see this dark black husband and wife holding up their blonde and blue baby that they produced, came out of her womb. As a matter of fact, I found scores of them. I showed it to some people at work. Probably like 10 different or 12, 15 different dark black couples with white babies. That's how beautiful your genes are. That's how powerful your genes are. Your genes produce the entire world. You cannot get black out of white, but you can get white out of black. I move on. Yahweh, please calm my brother down. So what we have here is declared by the Cohen that this person is completely with Laban. That's the Hebrew word. They are completely Laban. They are when we call people white, they're not white. They're really pink. A so-called white person is just the lightest shade of brown. Pink is the lightest shade of brown. There's no such thing as a white person. A white person is a fallen angel, and they are unredeemable. If a person is white, pure white, they have no melanin, and they cannot be redeemed. They cannot enter to the kingdom of Yahweh. They are a fallen angel. And I go in detail on that. Y'all got to get my second book and read the chapter, The Color of Man, where I go into more detail than this. I can't do that here. But the brother knows his research. So when you understand this, you understand the Bible better. There are plenty of people in the Bible who were albinos. You just didn't know it. The first pure albino was Noah. Noah was pure albino. His father thought his mother was raped by a fallen angel. He could not believe that was his son. Because no one ever looked like Noah before Noah was born. No one ever looked like Noah. He was a pure white albino. And when he had his sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, one of his sons, Japheth, had the propensity for albinism. Japheth had the propensity for albinism. He had the greatest gene for it. So higher percentages of, and this is another reason why your white brothers don't want you to know this, what I'm telling you now. That's why if you turn to this broadcast, you're going to learn something. They don't want you to know this, that Noah was because it would let you know that we produce all the nation. Noah had a bush. The Hebrew word is dimdima. In Iberit, he's described as having a dimdima. A dimdima is a thick, nappy bush. And that's what he had. And he produced 3 sons. One crispy black, that was Ham. One brown, like me, and one who was mixed, that was Japhet, who had the propensity, like his father, of being an albino. And so that means all the world was once again after the flood produced by what you call black genes. I thought I'd stop here and tell you that. In the Bible, there are a lot of people who are albino. Laban, Jacob's brother of father-in-law, was an albino. And that's I tell you, and I laugh when I read the story, because you've seen a chess game being played. Black Jacob and white Laban playing a chess game with each other, playing games back and forth, tricking one another. That's a chess match. White man moved first. He's the first one to trick Jacob, but Jacob got him at the end. Black ended up winning. That's why I love the game of chess. One of the reasons why I love the game of chess. I think about Jacob and Laban. But also there's many. Lot, Abraham's nephew, was an albino. Lot was an albino. He looked like a white man. Yusuf was a pure albino. Yusuf was a beautiful, what you would call a white man, but he wasn't a white man. But you would think he was a beautiful white man. The women swooned over him. He walked past a herd of women, turned around, they all be falling on the floor. White man. One of the disciples was a so-called white man. Luke was a so-called white man. And he was a white man, but it's saying he looked like a white man. Luke, one of the disciples. So this is something that you miss when you're reading English in the KJV, of what people physically look like. Because Yahweh's people are melatonin rich, but we can produce everything. This is why one of the signs Yahweh had to show the people that Moshe was sent by him was to have Moses dip his hand in his bosom, and he brought it out white. His hand came out of his bosom pure white to show that Yahweh sent him. Then he put it back in, and it came back to his natural tone. Obviously, that's a great sign right there that Yahweh's people are black, what you would call black. Otherwise, he would not have Moses show the sign of him having a white hand and then put it back in his bosom and return back to his natural color. You know, like I said before, Yahweh didn't say, hey, you're this color, you come over here, you're that color, over here. What this means is just that you should have pride. Take pride in yourself in the way you look. Take pride in and when you open this book, when you open this Bible, what they call the Bible, you should look in there and see yourself in it. You should have, if you had more understanding and pride in yourself, you would not go be out here with your pants hanging down showing your butt crack. You would have more pride. You're not calling your women bees and hoes. And you would not be calling each other the N-word, which we're going to get to that one. Oh, you wait till we get to that one. Here's another scripture that I'm sure went over your heads to show that all of Yahweh's people are dark. Genesis 50:11. Remember when Jacob died, they had the funeral procession for Jacob. The Egyptians joined the Hebrews in the funeral procession. They all mourned Jacob together. They had a long funeral procession for the death of Jacob. Who was watching the funeral procession as they went out to the burial site? The Canaanites. The black Canaanites saw the funeral procession. Read Genesis 50:11 and see what the Canaanites said. They said, wow, the Egyptians loved that man. Did you get it? They said the Egyptians. They called the Hebrews Egyptians. What do the Egyptians look like? Ding, 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 ding. Have you seen all the artifacts? They look like what you call niggas. The Egyptians are black. And if the Canaanites, who also are black, confuse the Hebrews with the Egyptians, that means they must be black also. 98% of everybody you read about in this Bible in the Old Testament is black. 98% of everybody you read. The Assyrians, the Persians, the Babylonians, the Canaanites, the Egyptians, the good guys and the bad guys are all black. You don't start seeing white people till you get to the New Testament. Calm down, Yehonatan. Calm down. John 8:33. John 8:33. This is just because I love my people, and I hate when people hate themselves and they don't understand the book. And they love and kiss the buttocks of the white man like he's God that came from heaven to save them. Your Savior looked like you. You ain't had no Savior look like your enemy. John 8:33. Love yourselves. John 8:33. We're going to show by how out of their own mouths they say they're not you. There's a difference. Have discernment. This is Yahshua going having a back and forth with the scribes and Pharisees. And they said in John 8:33, make sure I get this right. And they answer him, this is the Pharisees, we are Abraham's descendants and have never been in bondage to anyone. That's what they said. This is what they said out of their own mouths. Now, who else came from Abraham's seed? Isaac, Jacob, and who else? Ding, 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 ding. You're right. Esau. Esau is a legitimate Shemite from Abraham's seed. And here's what they said right here. We're from Abraham's seed. Point one, you're correct. We have never been in bondage. Point two, correct. You went into Egypt, not Esau. Now here they are in Yahshua's time. Now they're in charge of us under Roman rule. Here it is right here. John 8:33 proves to you that Esau is not you. He said it out of his own mouth. They have never been in bondage, which is true. Your black buttocks was in bondage. Mine, not them, not the red man. This is not a white man, and this is a red man. Esau was red. Never been in bondage, but he is of Abraham's seed. 2 points true. He said out of his own mouth. It's a testimony against him. So that means the people in the book, Yahweh's covenant to people, Yahweh didn't have no covenant with Esau. He hates Esau because Esau spread his seed with animals and other men, anybody that he could dip his wick in, and today with machines. Esau is who ruled over you under Roman rule. Let's go to a few verses over to prove that. I got to back that up, right? Got a couple scriptures. I'm going to run out of time. I'll show you one. John 11:47 and 48. John 11:47 and 48. See, Esau was ruling over you, set up by the Romans. And I'm going to surprise you by what they look like. John 11:47 and 48. John 11:47 48. Then the chief priest and the Pharisees, okay, the chief priests and the Pharisees now, all right, gathered a council. Oh man, black people are always in trouble when red people get around together, or any other race of people, all of them, to counsel against you. And said, what will we do? For this man works many signs, talking about Yahshua. If we let him alone like this, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation. There you go. The Romans set up Esau over you because they knew Esau hates you and will keep us in check for them. And by the way, the Romans were albinos, mixed blotchy skin. They were albinos, not white. Blotchy skin. Romans were blotchy. They were albinos. And they set up the red man over your brown butt. And they hated Yahshua. They were Shemites just like you. They were Esau, Abraham's seed, but red. Not beautiful brown like you. He had a disrupted. Remember, we did Toldot. I ain't going to go back there again. It's an evil man. A red man. You don't see him. He's rare. Very rare. They're the ones who's ruling all this demonic stuff that's going on in this world today. The rare man, he's not the white man. It's Esau. Just thought I'd stop here and tell you that. Because we have too many people here who don't know who's who in the book. Get my second book and read the chapter, The Color of Man. Now, moving on. And we know how evil Esau is because And here's another thing. John 19:15. What did they say? We have no king. They said Yahweh was not their king. They said Caesar is our king. There's another testimony against themselves. And then they also, remember, they said, let his blood be on their children. I'm telling you, man, these words came out of Esau's mouth. Let his blood be on their children. And they said their king is Caesar, not Yahweh Shua. They are cursed. That's the Erev Rav. Erev Rav. Erev Rav is the ones who said, who got their ox built and had us dancing in front of the ox. And Moshe came down and threw the commandments down. There was the Erev Rav, Esau, and Moses had them all thrust through. And to this day they hate you. That's why King Herod in Matthew 2:16 massacred all the firstborn Hebrew males, headhunters. That's that bitch spirit he had in him. Just like Jezebel, just like Isabel, just like Herodias had John the Baptist's head cut off. Nadab and Abihu and Uzzah. That's what it was. The female dog spirit in them. Headhunters of Yahweh's men. The A man, the Aleph man. All wounds or illnesses results in an injury of inflammation. So they still had to be checked for Sarat, which is whiteness, which is a curse, or could be a curse. It has to be checked. Only the priest can say it is. So even though they may say, for instance, you come from war, you're going to have wounds. You still have to be checked for whether you have Sarat or whether it's going to be a scab. So the Bible has every scenario covered here. It's beautiful how Yahweh covers this. It covers let me just go read on. Okay, so in verse 22, so what if you have a person who is albino, 100%? Because remember, albino is not a cursed person. He's clean. But what if you have albino who does have Sarat? Verses 16 to 23 outlines that. Isn't that beautiful? Yahweh has everything covered. So it's not just the dark skin, his dark people who get checked for it, but also his white or pink people gets checked. Okay, and there's a systematic way of checking for that. And there's a systematic way of checking for people who have scabs and scars, or moles and pimples, or different things like that. He has everything covered. Also for burns, in verses 24 to 28, there's laws for checking people who have burns. All right, and he mentions them separately because you can have an infection and not have Sarat, or you can have Sarat and not have an infection. Yahweh covers everything, and it's a beautiful thing. If you, in talking about this topic, is very, it can be raw for someone who reads it the wrong way, because nowhere in here is Yahweh making a judgment on a person's skin color. He's making a judgment on their heart condition, that the skin color tells. Okay, the skin color tells on the heart condition. It says, hey, inside this body is hidden sins. It has nothing to do with the person looks like, because we just told you that a person who's pure pink or white is not cursed. So it has nothing to do with that. The thing about it is, you've been told by the red man and the white man that you are a curse. They changed the whole thing. They changed your Savior, turned into a white Jesus. And if color didn't matter, if it doesn't matter, then why did they change it? You know why they changed it? Oh, you wait till we come up with this word nigger. Wait till we come up. I'm going to show you in the scriptures where this word nigger comes from. Because to them, color matters. Color don't matter to a righteous man or a righteous woman. Color don't matter to Yahweh. It don't matter to me. It matters to those who don't have it. And why it matters to them? Because no one's being lost or saved based on it. But because they are proud and want to be your boss and run over you, they make something that's superficial a deep, important matter of life and death when it is not. And this is important because, I hurt my heart when my nephew was pulled up by, he was eating a chicken sandwich. And I hope he's on. I told him, y'all better tune in today. He was eating a chicken sandwich, and this white girl come saying, do you think, you say Black Lives Matter? He said, yes. He said, well, all lives matter. Don't you think all lives matter? He said, yes, of course. My nephew says, yeah, all lives matter, and all lives do matter. He said, then why are you eating that chicken sandwich? Oh man, I dare somebody to come in my face and say that. I would try my best to hold my tongue to keep from cursing them out. You're going to equate my life to a chicken. All lives matter. So I should eat a chicken sandwich because all lives matter. That shows you what they think about you. What the so-called, generally, what the white man thinks about you. Because he didn't have discernment or maturity to answer her like I would have. Because I would have slashed her 6, 7 up, down, way up and down, back and forward. I'm made after the image of Yahweh, a melatonin man. He made me look like him. Beautiful. Handsome. Gorgeous. Black man, if you will. Looking like him. And you compare it to a chicken sandwich. Not only that, are the Asian blood spilling down the street like the so-called black man? Do you see Jews' blood streaming down the street? You ever see a beautiful Jewish man with a yarmulke on and sits with his beautiful wife sitting next to him and his beautiful children sitting in the back seat, being pulled over for a traffic stop and him being murdered in front of his beautiful family? That ever happened? You know hell would open up if a black police officer blasted a Jewish man in his car in front of his beautiful Jewish family. Hell would open up. All lives matter. Damn all lives. Our life is the one that's spilling down the street. Damn everybody. Asian, I wish I would spend a minute of my time worrying about them. When our blood is being spilled down the street. You don't see, hey, have you noticed that 1,000 Germans was pulled off in traffic stops and just shot and killed? Get out of the car with their hands up, 27 bullets in them. And the Asian man, the Japanese man. It doesn't happen to nobody else but you. Because they hate your melanin. They hate the way you look because the Redeemer, by the way, I'm the one that taught you that the word Redeemer is Goel. It's a genetic word. It means those who are genetically related to him is who he's redeeming. He ain't redeeming dogs. He ain't redeeming pigs. He ain't redeeming snakes. He ain't redeeming mankind. He's redeeming man. It don't matter what that man color looks like. Man. 100% pure men and women who are set apart, sanctified, set apart, who are not common. Like a chicken sandwich. I kept that name. I wanted to call her in my head. I hope my nephews are listening. I hope we got some people out there who know take some pride in yourselves. You know how you look. And respect other people for how they look. But their blood is not being spilled down the streets. Yours is. Every time you get behind the wheel, your life is in jeopardy to get from point A to point B. A Jewish brother ain't got nothing to worry about. He can drive drunk 3 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody gonna come blasting him with his hands up. Show me the headlines. Let me see. It would be all over the world. Black cop blast a Jewish man. All lives matter, but all lives aren't being splattered. Damn everybody's life. My life matters. And I look like Yahweh. Check me out. It'll be on the channel tonight. Now, Yahweh, in verses 29 to 39, oh, have mercy. He separated the sarat on the face and the head. Because it is separate. Because if you got a white spot on your chest, so you got your clothes on. You're not supposed to be naked anyway. So people can't see all these other scenarios that came out. These are hidden. But now, there's a separate section just for those who are not hidden. Your face and your head. Nigga, where'd that come from? Hebrew word 5061. And it means a stroke, a plague, or a mark. This is in verse 29. They use that word. It means a stroke, a plague, and we know the plague is white, or a mark. This is an affliction or baldness in the beard or in the head or in the face. It is a nigga. And that's why they call you that, because it really looks like the one who called you that. Anyone who is nigga, Hebrew word 5061, is in the Bible. So I'm not profane, saying nothing profane. Don't look black. If you have a nigga, you look white. That's why they called you that. And they got you rapping and calling yourselves that. Stop cursing yourself. You know, Yahweh said, see, Yahweh can't curse what he's already blessed. It's an impossibility. Yahweh can't even do it. If he blessed you, you're blessed. You can't be cursed. Only way you can be cursed if you do it yourself. Which is why he got the area Rav pumping up your artist to curse you and got you. And you can't be a top selling artist singing righteous stuff. But you sing about bees and hoes and niggas and all this stuff. You're a top seller. He gets you to curse yourself. Because he knows if he curses you, he gets cursed. Anybody who curses you, Yahweh gets them. They get double and 7 times more. So you better watch what you say to me. You better watch what you say to this brother right here talking. Because it's going to hit you 7 times. The only way this brother can get cursed if I curse myself. And I ain't cursing myself and I ain't cursing my people. The nigga is the one who is the curse that's in the book. That's in the book. I think you need to come by and tune into this thing every Sunday, 1 o'clock, so you can learn something. Isaiah 3:17. This is how you curse yourself. Isaiah 3. This is why we got to watch this and stop envying your oppressors. Isaiah 3:17. Therefore, Yahweh will strike with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. Our daughters, our beautiful, he's going to strike them. And Yahweh will uncover their secret parts. Let me put down 24. Why is he doing this? And so it will be, instead of a sweet smell, there will be a stench. Instead of a sash, a rope. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Instead of a rich robe and girdle of sackcloth, a branding instead of beauty. Yahweh is going to allow us, since we cursing ourselves and don't follow the Torah, follow his laws and rules, us to have baldness of our head, and our women are having problems there right now, and scabs. Scabs and baldness because of our dishonor and disrespect and calling common what is Kodesh. Making ourselves common, we are cursing ourselves. And all these hair products being sold by people who are not black to black people, which is destroying our hair. Keep your hair. Love your hair. Don't straighten it. It causes it to be dak. That's the Torah word for weak. That's the Hebrew word for weak. It means weak. And don't they have a black hair product called dak? Y'all didn't even realize it. They are laughing at your face and making billions. Laughing at us buying hair products that make our hair weak. Straightens it up. When anything coiled is stronger. Anything, you can't even get reception without the wires being coiled. Antennas are coiled. Engines are coiled. Your hair lock is coiled. Helps you to understand the reception of hearing Yahweh's voice when he's talking to you from Hashemayim. With your melanin skin. Your coiled hair helps him to receive it. And you're straightening it out. When a person has a scab or a sore or a serat, their hair is blonde, the Torah is saying. Blonde. But you want to be blonde ambition. And you want to put dak, which means weak, products in your hair. Read verses 29, 30, and 31, and 32, and 35. The blonde hair, the blonde, is the weak hair. And it means the person is cursed. Unless it turns back to black, which is shakor, in verse 37. Verse 37 says, if it turns back to black, then it's because there's some people who go bald naturally. Yahweh covers that. You can have natural baldness. But if you have baldness because you're a secret sinner, Yahweh calls you out. The hair falls away. And if it does not fall away, it turns blonde. Another sign in verse 37 that Yahweh's people are black, if you want to call it, is that their hair turns back to black. Shakor. But you need somebody who went to a Hebrew school to learn a little bit of Hebrew to tell you that. But you should already love yourself and not be trying to be blonde ambition. Why are you straightening what is natural? What is wrong with you? You look in the mirror, and what's wrong with being whatever you look like? Red, yellow, black, and white. Ain't nobody nowhere in this Torah at all from front to back where it says black people got in, white people got out, red people got in. It doesn't say that. It's your heart. This whole thing is about the heart. From beginning to end, it's all about the heart, what's inside of you. And if you got secret dirt and filth, then it's going to show. It's going to show eventually. It's going to come out. It's going to show. Yahweh says in Psalms 11:4, his eyelids test the sons of men. Yahweh, he looks at you. He looks, his eyes, he narrows his eyeballs. He narrows his eyelids to test. You can't hide. Ain't no dirt sneaking to the kingdom. Dark people is the foundation of Yahweh's people. And everyone else, get in where you fit in. Don't try to lead. It ain't your right to teach me nothing about this book. I direct the narrative of this Bible, what you call Bible. I direct the narrative. Romans 3:2 says the oracle. Look up the word oracle. It means the exact phonation, the exact alliteration of the word of Yahweh, what comes out of his mouth. The actual oracle, Romans 3:2, comes out of my mouth, not yours. If you're red, if you're pink, if you're any other race, you get back behind me. You can get to the kingdom. Follow me. I'll show you. That's your problem. See, if you're proud, you won't do that. It does not disrespect anybody. If your house is burning down, you do not want plumbers coming to put out the fire. Are you disrespecting the plumber? Or you just want the right person for the job? If somebody stole your car, do you want an electrician coming to get the police report? If somebody broke into your house, you want the gynecologist come in and try to take care of it? You want the right person for the job. You're not disrespecting anybody. And it's my job to teach the Torah. All black peoples to teach Torah, not no white man. So next week we'll go further. We're going to with Metzora, one being diseased. Oh, that's going to be interesting. I didn't finish it, of course. I never do. Until next week, Yehonathan with you here. Shalom Aleichem, peace be on you. Get with this.
Now